All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for your patience with our technical difficulties. We think we got it worked out now. Welcome to our last session of today. We'll be with Dr. Glenn Pohland. And a few housekeeping notes to start. Make sure that you check the chat and Whova. We have 3 links for you. One is to download the app so you can use it on your phone or whatever other mobile device. One is your publisher's choice list. These all link directly to SmartMusic, which is awesome. And we also have your certificate of attendance, which you can download from the chat or from the session description. Make sure to check out some of our on-demand sessions later tonight. You can access those from any time of the day. These sessions, the live sessions will all be recorded and will be sent to you within a week. And make sure that you're following the community guidelines. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the Q&A section in Whova and upvote any that you would like answered. So today, we'll be with Dr. Glenn Pohland. His bio. Dr. Glenn Pohland is currently serving as Associate Professor in the Communication and Fine Arts Division at Loras College. He currently teaches courses in music education, orchestration, instrumental techniques, music in the movies, instrumental conducting, as well as he conducts several different groups. Dr. Pohland taught for 24 years at the 7 through 12 level, and he currently actually has 2 sons that are still involved in that 7 through 12 circuit. Thank you, Glenn, for being with us today. The floor is yours.
All right, well, thank you so much and welcome everybody. I'm wondering if I stop share. Sorry, absolutely did not mean to do that. So let me go back here and share that. As was said, I've been I've been in music education for a full career now. This fall, I'm going to start my 40th year of teaching. My first 24 of those years were in a small town in Minnesota, where I started as a 9 through 12 band director. But after a few years, also got 7 through 12 band and then 5 through 12 band, and even had a semester where I taught 7th grade choir. And general music was almost always a part of that as well. So a real journey for me to be here now at Loras, where one of the other great things I do with the music education students is observing the student teachers. I would not be where I am today had it not been for some mentors along the way that certainly have guided my career. One in particular, Lee Callistad, who used to work for Make Music until he retired just a few months ago, really, came out to observe my teaching. And he had asked me if I knew anything about what was then at the time Vivace. And the Vivace predates SmartMusic, but is the same, the company. I had started using it on a recommendation after going to a MMEA convention and found it fascinating. And so that was kind of my introduction to SmartMusic. I had to teach myself, sat in a practice room by myself trying to figure out how this new technology worked, because I was not one of these tech geniuses that could just pick up software and make it work, but it really took a while for me to do that. So that was probably 25 years ago now. And as I continue working with young students of all ages, and music education students, SmartMusic is one of those technologies that I have embraced and used for the last 25 years or so. So please don't hesitate to ask questions as we go through the PowerPoint, and then we'll get into the program so that you can see some of the things that we are talking about. Why active learning with SmartMusic? Well, it is one of the only software programs that gives us and our students the access to these vital practice tools. You know, we can ask students to put a tuner on their phone or get a metronome on their phone. But then those two apps would be limited to those things. SmartMusic as a practice tools gives us those tools plus literally thousands of musical examples to work on. It also, while it will never replace any of us, it gives immediate feedback. And I think this is so important that students see within a split second of finishing an exercise how they've done. Those of you who are familiar with SmartMusic know that the red and the green notes show up immediately. Students get the feedback. They can listen to what they played. And that kind of feedback, I just believe, is invaluable for the way students learn. The guided practice, okay, with the easy way that we can manage SmartMusic, we can guide the practice for each one of our students. And although we can make an assignment to groups of students, we can also very much individualize. And we all know that in the last few years, our principals and our state school boards and parents, they want individual instruction. And so we've got the ability with SmartMusic to do that. You, as the teacher, are going to set your specific goals. Maybe that's for every student, maybe that's for a section, maybe it's the broader goals for your ensemble. And so I want you to understand that it is us. It always comes back to us. We set the goals and we keep students working towards those goals. We are still providing the expert instruction. Although students can click on any note on the page and bring up a fingering chart, I hope you've all seen that before, they're still going to ask you. They're going to ask you how to play a note. They're going to ask you whether it sounds good. And so you are still the expert. And although SmartMusic gives us immediate feedback, you are the personal expert for each one of your students. Thoughtful and deliberate practice. Okay, what is thoughtful and deliberate practice? Well, when we assign students work to do through SmartMusic, we add our own thoughtful comments. Okay, taking into account, again, each individual's performance, problems, or their solutions. Hey, don't forget in measure 3, whatever might be there. So we're thoughtful, we're deliberate about sending practice examples for our students. I mentioned earlier that the students get immediate feedback. This is a submission screenshot so that when I get my alto sax, Robert Sheldon, wouldn't that be wonderful, to send in a piece of music, this is what I get to see. And I get to see not just the grade, but the recording rubric details. And then I get this screenshot of every note that was played accurately or missed. I can provide comments immediately on this screen, giving the feedback back to the student. Hey, Robert, you did a fantastic job on this assignment. Thank you. You got it in 3 days early. So the ability to communicate with students is something that is so helpful for all of us. Okay, so what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about setting up SmartMusic, some practical tips for SmartMusic, that assignment creation, when you decide that your students are ready to receive an online assignment. What should some of those first assignments be? What are some of the more creative assignments? Okay, we're going to look at the Google Chrome workflow, and then we're going to talk about some tech tips. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with some general setup tips. Okay, so when students get started, you're going to want to require them to enter their emails in their profiles and back up the email field. Decide how you want to split your classes. Maybe you've got one 7th grade band, but you want, out of that 7th grade band, you want your 7th grade flutes, your 7th grade clarinets, your 7th grade percussion, all kinds of ways to split that class so that as you send thoughtful and deliberate assignments, it's very manageable. the microphone settings, okay? If you have any trouble with that, it tells us right here, type microphone settings into the help search box. Okay, and I'll show you where that search box is within the SmartMusic screen in a little bit. But I think I've had more problems with students sending in good quality rehearsals, or I'm sorry, good quality assignments, because they just didn't set up their microphone quite right. And that's something where we can demonstrate for them so that the assignments we do get are of the highest quality possible. And then all of this needs to be done using the Chrome browser, okay, except on iPads where you can use Safari. So this afternoon as I sit here, I'm on my laptop, definitely using the Chrome browser. Okay, there is some microphone settings when I type that in, and it gives us ways to troubleshoot, enable the microphone, getting it ready to record. All of those kinds of things are available to us there. Okay. The first practical tips I will say is model, model, model. Okay. If you want your students to succeed, do it for them. Okay, so the first time that I've demonstrated SmartMusic to my class, I've got an instrument in my hand. I'm pulling up an assignment I made to myself, and then I'm going to absolutely play that exercise for them. I might make some absolutely purposeful mistakes so that they can see when something is wrong. Okay, if you notice on the screen, our teacher there has a B flat pulled up. That's what the fingering chart looks like. If you click on any note, that will come up for every instrument, every note on every instrument. And what a powerful tool that is. If you can see that slide pretty well, you'll see it says 1 of 2. I'll show you where that is so that if there's an alternate fingering, we know where to find it. Okay. But modeling for the students. I mentioned just a few seconds ago that I put myself in my classes always. So I'm not only the teacher, but I have my own student account where I put myself in the classes with my students. So when a student comes to me and says, hey, I didn't get this assignment, I can say, yes, you did. Did you not remember how to get to it? And then I can bring up my own student account and show them exactly where things are located within their student account. Okay, this is a feature that you will use over and over again. Within any assignment that you make, the students can create a practice loop. These 4 measures over and over. Then we can show them how to increase the tempo by however many number of beats. And you see that is in the middle of the screen where it says increase by 10. In a little bit, when I flip into the program, I will actually go through where that is and how to do that. But we know we do that in rehearsals. Let's take letter A and we'll go at 80. And they'll master that and we'll say, let's go back to letter A, but let's take it at 90 beats per minute. Okay, and eventually we work up to the tempo. And I think that's been a proven rehearsal technique for as long as I can remember. So a real great practical tip there. Okay, using analytics. Okay, looking at analytics to get the information you need about time spent. Okay, so the grade book, you can get these kind of metrics on your students for all classes, or you can get it for one class. Okay, how much are they practicing? A student, is struggling maybe. You say, well, you're not putting in a whole lot of time. Think about how useful this could be at a parent-teacher conference to explain to a parent, well, I see that during this week, little Jimmy didn't practice at all. And so, it's got some real power here with our analytics. Okay. Assigned content opened over selected dates. You can get that analytics. You can see not only how long or how much they practice, but what they practiced. Here, great example. They opened Amazing Grace 6 times. They opened High Voltage 5 times. They opened Lightly Row 18 times. And that kind of information is very, very useful for all of us. We can also look at what they've opened over selected dates. So let's talk about a first assignment. This is something that I really fell apart on early in my career because I would assign a student or the entire band to play an entire piece of music. Maybe the first suite, the first movement of the first suite in E flat. Well, if I had 72 students in band, and that's a 6.5 minute movement, 450 minutes worth of assignments to listen to. And I was wearing myself out, because if we're going to ask our students to submit these assignments, we owe it to them to listen to their assignments. So some suggestions. Make sure the students can succeed. Make that first assignment easy. I can't tell you the number of times where I assigned hot cross buns to advanced students. They would just have fun. They would challenge themselves. They'd play it faster. They'd do different things. They knew they could play the piece of music, but it also ensured that I got great recordings and that they didn't send me scores that were too low for them. So make sure that they can succeed. Excuse me. Considering creating a rubric to reward completion regardless of their correctness of their score. Okay, maybe an additional 10 points for turning the assignment in on time, an additional 10 points for sending a recording, an additional 10 points for sending a comment along. And all of those kind of rubrics are things that you can create. So let's not worry about the score the first time with the first assignment. Let's help them succeed in getting the first assignment done. You'll hear this several times, using easy tolerance. SmartMusic, the engineers that work for SmartMusic are incredibly smart people. And so you get to choose the tolerance level for your students. Okay, so an easy tolerance, the intonation parameters aren't set as strict. The start and stop of a note might not be set as precise. And so within each screen you open, within each assignment you make, you get to choose where you want that tolerance level. As students become more and more masterful of using SmartMusic, you can increase that tolerance level as they continue to demonstrate success. Communicate with the parents so that they can help their children. Okay, we often overlook this. And I think if we've learned nothing from the last couple of years, we know that our parents are involved with their students' education. And so communicating, maybe that first week when you're introducing SmartMusic, have a parent night. Hey, moms and dads, I'm going to start using this SmartMusic interactive practice program with your students. Here's what it is. I remember the first time I used this with my students, I went to a school board meeting and I demonstrated this to my school board, and I had a 5th grader and a 6th grader and a 7th grader student that came along with me to the school board meeting and actually played an example. Yes, we had practiced beforehand. I won't tell you that it was just on the fly that we did this. I had worked with these students, so I knew that they wouldn't freeze up. And I sold my school board. Then I could have that parents meeting and say, this is how we're going to use this. And these are the ways in which you as parents can help. Maybe they need help getting online. So whatever that might be, using parents as allies within my program. Okay, using headphones when recording, that's just a great practice. Okay, what we don't want is we don't want the students hearing outside noises. They've got just that background in their ear. Such a good way, and there's so many great headphones out there. Many of them with built-in microphones that really make this a better foolproof type of process for our students. And then again, show students how. Encourage them to listen to their performance before they submit things. In fact, that first demo that you do, make sure that you make some mistakes. Do it 2 or 3, 4 times. Then show them how to choose the highest score, the one that sounds the best, and then how to submit that assignment. One of the other new things that SmartMusic's got going is a playlist. Okay? A playlist. What's a playlist? Like you would have on any of your other devices. Okay? Setting up a playlist for your students. These are the 5 songs that we're going to be doing for our fall concert. It is within this playlist. It makes it so easy for you to be able to go and get those things. And so setting those up, a very easy process that I will show you. Okay, just how can you organize your literature so that students can see it throughout your time? Okay, real easy icon, my playlists. Okay. It's a great look at a playlist. Okay, getting music on and off those playlists, creating new playlists, all of this on that screen that you can see, a click of a button. So nice, easy way to organize your materials. Back to assignments for just a little bit here. Some assignment creation tips. Okay, so oftentimes you open an exercise, okay, and it might say exercise 1210. Well, are you always going to remember 1210? Maybe not. So changing its name, okay? This is scale, B flat scale quarter notes, okay? Or if you're in a lesson book, okay, tell them the page and the exact title, okay? So especially if you're sending many assignments, you want an easy way to keep track of your assignments. Okay, so when you get your assignment, when you're setting up your first assignment, anything that you see here on the page, you can highlight and retype. So whatever you want to make it, and I might call something first assignment, E flat major scale, slurring and tonguing. It tells me exactly what the assignment was. Okay. I like this tip. Okay, picking the most important culminating line for your assignment. I made the mistake early in my career of assigning exactly what it says not to assign. Okay, page 13, every line. Well, most of the lines on page 23 were very similar. So if I would have chosen the culminating line instead of all of them, first of all, I wouldn't have overloaded my students, and I would have gotten just as credible of information as had I chosen every line. So as you look at method book assignments, choose carefully. Again, the importance of your input into those thoughtful, deliberate assignments that you make for your students. Okay, building assignments or building assignments into units is a great way to make assignments. Maybe you've got your units it's like playlists, but you can reuse these units year after year. And so when we get into that, you'll see how you can easily use creating units to build your assignments for your students. Scheduling multiple sight reading assignments. Okay, Sight Reading Builder that's a part of SmartMusic is an amazing tool. It allows you to set parameters for your sight reading assignments, but then each student each time gets a different sight reading. Imagine you set in the parameters. In this case, as you see on the right side, the exercises in 3, 4, and 2 sharps. Okay, but you can choose 5 or more time signatures, 5 or more key signatures. And each time, okay, you notice that the auto generate is on, so that each time you assign something, it's something new for your students. The important thing here, remember to label the assignment so that you know what criteria was used. Okay? Then you can share your sight reading builder outline. Okay? You can send it to your students or share it with your colleagues. What a great way to share the work, right? Talk to the other directors in your district. If you're in a larger district that has multiple middle schools or multiple high schools, multiple elementary schools, it's a way that you're all creating this content and a wonderful way to share that with each other. Okay, I talked a little bit about the comments box so that you give instructions to your students. Okay? Let them know what you expect. Set those goals. I like using bonus words to ensure students are reading your comments. Okay, so here's an example of one. Okay, and again, look at the comments back. Okay, this student or this Theo got a really personalized comment back from the teacher. Okay, also Theo wrote something to the teacher. Okay, what a great way of communicating with each other.
And Dr. Glenn Pohland, we are about 15 minutes out.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get out of this PowerPoint and get right into the program. Whoops, I did not want to. I apologize for that. All right, so I'm going to start here I am at my homepage. If you haven't seen this before, this homepage is everything that we've talked about before. Okay, over here on the right is that search box that we talked about. Type in anything there you want to. Okay, my favorites, my playlists, showing you to create that, the different music categories that are there, and an orchestra. I'm going to open that one just by clicking on it to show you that our content now, 10,335 pieces of music. Some totally interactive, and what directors have been asking us for years that are now there is so many of the scores are here now too. So if it is a digital file, okay, we know that the score is there as well. So many wonderful things that are there, and now 10,000 of those. Okay, sight reading and singing, solos, 10,000s, exercises, thousands of those. Okay, so something for everybody. Then down here at the bottom, you'll see recently opened. And that's where I want to go to this afternoon, just so you really get an idea of what all of this is that I've been talking about. So here is A Childhood Remembered, wonderful piece of music that I just discovered recently. I pulled up the second clarinet part. Now, how did I do that? I went here to home and I typed in childhood. Okay. There was A Childhood Remembered. I opened that. Okay, now, okay, I wanted it interactive. Then I clicked open. I clicked select an instrument and chose clarinet. I wanted to get my second clarinet part, so I chose that and then opened it. Okay, now that's exactly what I had on my screen a minute ago. So here now is the second clarinet part. Okay, go ahead and play that just a little bit. As you can hear, it's got the entire recording on. I can turn off my part. Just listen to the piece. I can put on mine. Take off the accompaniment part. And then I just have the part that I need to play. Get back on. I'm going to pause that for a moment here and just show you everything on the screen for those of you that might be new to SmartMusic. Here's my tempo. I can increase it or I can decrease it. Okay. My takes is where if I do have this in an assignment, it'll keep track of my takes. The assessment. Okay. Here's where tolerance. I have it set at easy. I can lenient, average, or strict. Loop. I definitely want to draw your attention to this. This is exactly what we do in rehearsal. We play 4 or 5 measures and then we do them again. And each time maybe we do them a little faster. So I'm going to set a new loop. Okay, so here are my handles. I'm going to take this one at the beginning and I'm going to take the second one and I'm going to end it right here. Now I have a loop set up. Okay, look up here. Use count off between loops. Increase by, let's increase it by 10 beats per minute each time. We're not going to start at 103 then. I'm going to start at 70. And now I'm going to hit play. Nice and easy, slow tempo. I'm going back and now look at my tempo. It went to 80. The next time it'll go to 90. Next time it'll go to 100. What a powerful tool, right? And you can literally choose one measure if you want to. Just drag that handle up to the first measure. And now you've just got that. Okay? Wherever you want that to start and stop, you can do it. Okay? So we talked a lot about assignments as I was going through. So let me get right into that so you can see that. The assign button. Okay, I click on that. Okay, here's what's set for me. A childhood hymn or child remembered. Select an assignment type. There was that perform the entire piece. Now they'd have to play the whole thing. Assignment 1, custom assignment. Custom assignment means you get to choose the spot. I want to draw your attention to if it has predetermined assignments. These were your colleagues. These were great directors all around the country who have set up some great assignments for you. You can go through and find out what it is, okay, in the instructions. Hey, that's a great place to start. So please take a look at that. Okay, the sight reading is off, the assessment mode, tolerance level, all of those things you get to choose. I hit the red arrow. My criteria. Here's where I told you about setting up your criteria. Assessment grade is what SmartMusic gives to you. The recording, okay, how good is the quality? Tone quality. If you want more criteria, just add that. And maybe you call this one on time. Okay? Okay? Save criterion. Okay? Right? And you can add more to that. Okay? So another great way of doing that. Okay. As you finish going through the assignment criterion, okay, we get through there, okay, and we're ready to go and make an assignment. So some great things there. And I realize that we are running out of time. I do want you to know that anytime that you're back here at you're at your home screen, if you forget how to do some of this, using the help, okay, right up here, the help, and typing in making assignments or whatever it is that you might want them defined. Okay, let's continue and let's talk about playlists. Notice that I've got one here that was a 9th and 10th grade honor band. I directed this honor band last fall and wanted, okay, for myself as well as for the students. Okay, and so it was a matter of getting the pieces. Okay, so you could create a new playlist. Okay, and then go ahead and give it a title. Okay, 8th grade band. Okay, or whatever it is, and then you can confirm that. Okay, and then you can go back, opening it up. Okay, search for music. Okay, searching for music. If I would go back and put in where I was earlier, childhood. Okay, okay. There that is. Okay, and then literally I can add that to the playlist. Okay, so when I go back to my playlist, I can add that by dragging it or just adding that to where I was. So all kinds of great things with setting up playlists. Okay, and you'll have that when you're ready to go back to that. As you see on my home screen, several other things that I've got there. Okay, I've got some classes that I've taught recently. I've also got some recent assignments that I did when I was teaching brass techniques this last year. I had some assignments that I made to my students. My content is stuff that I've added to there. And then I think probably the last thing we've got time for here this afternoon is the sight reading. And I want to bring your attention to this box with 9 squares here up at the top, okay, to the sight reading builder, because this is something that I know that many of you will use. And okay, so we're going to select an ensemble, and we're going to select a band and a beginning band. Okay, now here's where you get to choose from. Okay, using random tempo markings, 60 to 100 in steps of 4. You can also choose other ones that you want to use and apply those. Select your durations. How many measures do you want this to be? Okay, or how many beats or how many seconds? So let's leave it where it is there. Okay, now let's select the difficulty level. Okay, let's just select level 2. Look at that. It already generated an exercise for us. Okay, I can assign that to my students. Okay, and I can also generate the next one. And so I know that that's a really, really quick way to go through that, but I want you to be aware of that sight reading builder and how easy it can be. Okay, then I want to save that. And again, here's where I did it, okay, the time and the date. I might want to, call it something else like first SR assignment. That way I really know, and now I've got it there, saving it, okay, and I can either go back using it or I can manage that content so that if I want to use that, okay, Now I can bring that up and I can assign that to my students. Okay, so all really fast, easy, effective ways of using a tool that we've got in SmartMusic to do so many things for us. Okay, whenever I get into something like that, what I'm clicking here is the house. I'm just going home all the time. Just because as we finish up, I want to bring your attention to several other things that are on the screen. I talked about the help feature here. Okay, searching for music, typing in a composer, typing in a piece, typing in a genre. What's going on the carousel here, okay, are new releases. Okay, and you can just click on it and stop it. Okay, as you see something that might interest you. Okay, or you can just keep that going through. You can also click immediately down on one of the circles down here at the bottom, and you can see what it's going to bring up. Okay, favorites, categories, classics, okay, all kinds of things here. I do want to stop and just really quickly open the exercise tab, because within if you just want to kind of get started with SmartMusic, they offer a whole bunch of free exercises for you to look at. So if I choose the SmartMusic exercises scales, okay, there are literally thousands and thousands of exercises. Okay, so if I go up and I'll just choose one to open for you so that you can see where that is. Okay, and let's choose a brass instrument this time. Okay, and open that up for you. Okay, here's an example of one of those exercises. Okay, and if I click on this G right here, notice a volume icon. I can play the note for the students, or there's my fingering icon that I mentioned before. Okay, and within that, okay, it says one of two. Okay, so there's the open G, but we know that there's also the 1 and 3 that you could play that with. So I know it's a ton of information to get through in a very short amount of time, but I want you to know that, I want to come back to the tips that we were mentioning earlier. Model, model, model. Let the students see you do these exercises. Let them see you make a mistake. Let them see you record an assignment. Let them hear you play and listen to yourself. Let them see you submit an assignment. You want to make it look as easy as it can be. So being sure that you have modeled it successfully and being as non-threatening, positive, they can master this. They will master this. And so many good things that we can do. So I hope that helps you this afternoon. There's so much to learn, but I thank you for your attention. And I hope that, if you've got some questions, we'll leave some time here for questions.
And I think we actually were able to answer most of the questions that came up in the chat. So I think we're good.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Glenn Pohland. I just like saying doctor today. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us that awesome session. I know there's a lot of good tips there for everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us as well. Just a reminder to download your certificate of attendance that I linked there in the chat, which is also in the description of the session. Don't forget, we did create a short survey for each session as well, so please click the rate session button to take 2 minutes and fill that out. This session does conclude our first day of sessions, so thank you guys for joining us. The community room is open 24/7, so if you'd like, go and drop a chat, drop a question, comment on somebody's post. Don't forget, also, you can access any of the on-demand sessions tonight as well. Thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you all tomorrow.